Toddler's birthday party is supposed to be one of the safest places imaginable. Balloons taped to the walls, family laughing, kids running around with cake on their hands. No one there expecting danger. And yet, in California, that sense of safety was shattered in seconds when gunfire erupted at what should have been a celebration of life. Multiple people were killed. Many more were injured. Survivors ran for cover, while children screamed. Parents shielded their kids with their own bodies. And now, weeks later, one question keeps getting louder instead of quieter. How is it possible that there are still no arrests and no publicly named suspects? This wasn't a remote area. This wasn't an empty street in the middle of the night. This was a crowded family gathering. So where did the shooter go? Did they vanish? Or were they never truly pursued the way the public expects? Authorities say the investigation is ongoing. They say they're following leads. They say they need time. But time is exactly what the victims' families feel they don't have. Every day without answers feels like another loss. Another reminder that justice may not come quickly. If it comes at all, why has this taken so long? Were there no working cameras nearby? No cell phone videos? No eyewitnesses willing to speak? Or is there information that investigators already have but aren't ready or willing to release? The FBI is now reportedly involved, assisting local and state authorities. On paper, that should reassure the public. Federal resources, federal expertise. But for many people watching this case unfold, that involvement raises new questions instead of calming fears. What exactly is the FBI looking into? Is this being treated as an isolated act of violence, or something bigger? And if the case is as straightforward as officials suggest, why does the silence feel so heavy? Some in the community are beginning to wonder whether this case is complicated by politics, jurisdictional issues, or mistakes made in the first hours after shooting. Others are asking a harder question. Is there a reason certain details are being kept out of public view? No suspect descriptions. No clear motive. No timeline shared with the public. Just reassurances that sound more rehearsed each time they're repeated. When answers don't come, speculation fills the void. People begin to ask whether this was targeted. Was someone at that party the intended victim? Or was this a random act that exposes just how vulnerable public gatherings really are? And if it was targeted, does that mean the shooter is someone known to the community? Someone who blends in easily? For the families who lost loved ones, none of these questions are abstract. They are personal. They wake up every morning knowing that the person responsible for their pain may still be walking free. Birthdays will never feel the same again. Neither will holidays, family parties, or any place where children are supposed to be safe. Survivors carry a different burden. Many are dealing with physical injuries. Others are battling invisible wounds, panic attacks, nightmares, survivor's guilt. Some are children who may not yet understand what happened, but will feel its effects for years to come. And every time they hear that there are still no suspects, it reinforces a fear that this could happen again to someone else. The broader public is watching closely too, because this case isn't just about one tragic event. It's about trust. Trust in law enforcement. Trust in institutions. Trust that when violence like this happens, the system will respond swiftly and transparently. When that trust starts to erode, people begin to wonder if justice depends on who you are, where you live, or how uncomfortable the truth might be for those in power. That's when questions about cover-ups and failures begin to surface. Not because people want to believe them, but because silence leaves room for doubt. Officials insist there is no cover-up. They say releasing too much information could compromise the case. And that may be true. But the longer this goes on without visible progress, the harder it becomes for the public to simply take their word for it that a toddler survived their own birthday party. But something else didn't survive that day. The sense that moments like this are untouchable by violence. And until someone is held accountable, that loss will continue to ripple far beyond the families directly affected. This case is still unfolding, and it deserves attention, scrutiny, and continued pressure for answers. And as the days turn into weeks, the silence grows louder. Every press statement sounds the same. Every update feels carefully measured. And still, no face, no name, no accountability. Just a growing list of questions that no one seems ready to answer out loud. Was this case mishandled in the crucial first hours? Was evidence lost, overlooked, or ignored? Did someone fail to act when they had the chance to stop the shooter from disappearing? Or is the truth more uncomfortable than officials want the public to accept? If the shooting happened in broad daylight, surrounded by families, children, and witnesses, how could the person responsible simply fade into the background? How many people know something and haven't spoken yet? And why haven't they? What happens when fear outweighs trust? What happens when witnesses stay silent because they don't believe protection will come? What happens when justice moves so slowly that it feels optional? And then there's a question no one wants to ask, but many are thinking. If this were a different neighborhood, a different kind of victim, a different audience watching, would there be answers by now? The FBI's involvement suggests the stakes are high, but high stakes demand transparency, not distance. So what exactly are they protecting right now? The integrity of the case or the reputation of the system handling it? For the families left behind, every unanswered question feels like a door closing. For survivors, each day without progress feels like a warning that safety is never guaranteed. And for the rest of us, watching from the outside, this case forces a chilling realization that if justice can stall here, at a toddler's birthday party, where does it move quickly? At what point does patience turn into neglect? At what point does silence become complicity? And how long can authorities ask the public to trust a process they can't see? Someone knows what happened that day. Someone knows who pulled the trigger. And until that truth comes into the light, this story isn't over. It's waiting. Waiting for answers. Waiting for accountability. Waiting to see whether justice arrives or quietly slips away like the suspect who still hasn't been found. Stay with this story, because unanswered crimes have a way of repeating themselves. If you want to stay informed as new details emerge, make sure you're following this channel. Watch until the end for updates as they happen. Leave a comment with your thoughts. Do you think this delay is about caution, incompetence, or something deeper? And don't forget to subscribe for ongoing true crime coverage, because stories like this don't end when the headlines fade.